Hello students, in our previous sessions we have revised chapter number 1, that is food, where does it comes from, and chapter number 2, components of food. So in today's session we are going to revise chapter number 4, that is sorting materials into groups. Do you remember what we have studied in this chapter? What were the different topics that we have covered? In this chapter, we have studied the different properties of material like its appearance, hardness, solubility and transparency. So, we will quickly revise all those properties. We observe many different objects present around us. Do all the objects look alike? No. The objects have the different shape, size, color and even they are made from the different materials, isn't it? We can group the objects that appear round in shape like the football, the marble ball or the wall clock. Some of the fruits also appears round in shape. You can also group some of the objects as the rectangular shape like TV, books, etc. You can see that some of the objects are made up of plastic. So, the objects like buckets, lunch boxes, toys, water container, pipes, etc. are made from plastic, isn't it? There are so many ways in which we can group the objects. So we have seen the two ways in which we have grouped the object. We have grouped the object on the basis of their shape and the materials they are made. Objects can be made up of different materials like glass, metal, plastic, wood, cotton, paper, mud or soil. So objects can be made up of different materials. We have grouped the objects, but why grouping is necessary? What will happen if we group the materials together? We can group the materials on the basis of similarities and differences, the materials which show the similar properties. Grouping also helps in gaining the systematic knowledge of the things. It will be convenient for us. It will be easier for us. It makes us easy to locate them and work with them, isn't it? So if we group our things properly, it will be easy for us to locate them and work on them. We have studied that from one material, the different things can be made. That is, using wood, we can make the different things like table, chair, bench, door, bullock cart, potter's wheel, etc. Like plastic can be used to make different things like chair, table, mug, jug, toys, bucket, dustbin, lunchbox, isn't it? So different materials can be used to make the different things. Out of one material we can make many different things. Like iron is used to make the gate, box, chair, table, bed, nails, bathroom fittings, etc. And similarly, one object can also be made using the different materials. Like pencil can be made up of plastic and metal. Chair can be made up of wood, steel or iron. Even bed can be made up of wood, steel and iron. Isn't it? So one object can also be made from different materials. We have studied that the different materials are used to make object. Or objects can be made from the different materials. But what decides which material we should use to make an object? So, to make the object, we have to choose a material depending on its property. So, what property does the material possess and for what purpose the object is used for? So, depending on these two factors, we choose the material. For example, if we have to make a tumbler, tumbler is used to fill the water. So, if we will use the cloth as a material to make a tumbler, will it be useful? No, it will not make any sense, as if we use the cloth, all the water will leak out. So, we have to choose the material depending on its property and for the purpose the object is used for. Now let us study the different properties of the material. First is appearance. Now, materials usually look different from each other. You might see that different materials that are present around you, does not appear similar. They look different. Like wood looks different from iron, isn't it? Iron appears different from copper and aluminium. At the same time, there may be some similarity between iron, copper and aluminium that is not in wood. We have seen wood appears different from iron. Iron also appears different from copper and aluminium, but iron, copper and aluminium shows some of the similarity. What is that similarity? As iron, copper and aluminium are metals, you may see that they appear shiny, while wood may not appear shiny. Wood appears dull. So based on the appearance, materials can be classified into two, lustrous and non-lustrous. So what are lustrous? The materials that have the shiny appearance. For example, gold, silver, iron, aluminium, etc. Generally, all the metals are lustrous except sodium, potassium. These are some metals that does not have a shine. Then what are non-lustrous? The materials which does not possess shiny appearance are known as non-lustrous. They appear dull. For example, wood, rock, etc. Some of the metals often lose their shine and appear dull. So what happens after some time? Some of the metals lose their shine and they appear dull. Why this happens? This happens because of action of air and moisture. Due to air and moisture, the metals become tarnished. That is, they lose their shiny appearance. The next property that we have studied about the material was its hardness. You might have pressed some of the objects with your hands. So what you observe? That some of the materials are easy to compress while others may be hard to compress with your hands. Now, if you try to scratch a surface of wood, aluminium, a piece of stone, chalk, candle or any other object, what you will find? That some of the materials get easily scratched. So, the materials that can be compressed or scratched easily are called as soft materials. For example, cotton, sponge, etc. are the soft. We can compress them easily with our hands, isn't it? Now, on the other hand, while some other materials are difficult to compress, we can't compress them. So, they are hard materials. For example, iron, rock. Are you able to compress them with your hands? No. So, based on the hardness, materials are classified into two types, hard and soft. Hard, the materials which cannot easily get compressed by our hands are known as hard materials, while the materials which can easily be compressed or scratched are known as soft materials. Now we will study the third property, that is solubility. In solubility also, the materials are again classified into two types, that is soluble or insoluble. So what do you mean by soluble? Some substances have completely disappeared or dissolved in water. These substances are soluble in water. Now, if we will take salt and will try to dissolve in water, what will happen? You will find that the salt will get dissolved in water. that is, it get completely disappeared. So those substances that get completely disappeared or dissolved in water are known as soluble substances. On the other hand, other substances do not mix with water and do not disappear even after we stir for a long time. These are substances that are insoluble in water. So, some substances that do not get mixed with water, even we stir them for a longer period of time. These substances are known as insoluble substances. So, what are soluble substances which get dissolved or disappeared in water? What are the examples of soluble substances? Sugar, salt, etc. If you will add sugar or salt in a water, it will get disappeared. On the other hand, what are insoluble substances which does not get mixed or disappeared in water? For example, sand. Can you find sand gets dissolved in water? No. Chalk powder. Do chalk powder gets dissolved in water? No. Solution is a mixture of two or more substances. So, when we will add sugar in water, what will form? A solution. A sugar solution is formed. So, what is solution? Solution is a mixture of two or more substances. Like when sugar is added in the water, it forms a sugar solution. So when we add the two substances or the two materials together, it forms a solution. Water is a universal solvent. Water is called as a universal solvent. Why water is called as a universal solvent? Because many materials or the substances get dissolved in water. Therefore, water is a universal solvent. Now, what do you mean by solvent? What is solvent? A solvent is a liquid that dissolves a solute. It is a component of a solution that is present in the greater amount. So, solvent is a liquid. Now, for example, if we will take salt and water, so the water is known as a solvent. It will dissolve solute in it. What is solute? The minor component of a solution. We add salt in a small amount. So it is a minor component of a solution which get dissolved in the solvent. So solution consists of solvent and a solvent. So we will study about saturated and unsaturated solutions. So what are saturated solutions? Saturated solutions contain more amount of solute in them, while in the unsaturated solution, the solute present is less. Now, for example, if we will take the two beaker in which we will add the water. So, in first beaker, if I will add 1 teaspoon of sugar, and in the second beaker, I will add 2 teaspoons of sugar. So, which one is more saturated? Of course, the second one is more saturated. Why? As it contains more amount of solute in it. Therefore, it is more saturated solution than the first one. Now we will study about miscible liquids. What are miscible liquids? Miscible liquids are those liquids which upon mixing form one phase and no distinct layers are visible. So, as we have studied about solubility, in which we have added one of the solid substance in a liquid and we have find whether the substance get dissolved or disappear in that liquid or not. Similarly, in the miscible liquids, two liquids are mixed together. On mixing, if the liquid forms only the one phase, you are not able to see the two distinct layers, then those liquids are known as miscible liquids. For example, if you add vinegar in water, what you will observe? Do you observe the two different layers, one of vinegar and another of water? No. you will observe a one layer, a homogeneous layer, that is a single layer, single phase is observed. No distinct layers are observed. So, such liquids are known as miscible liquids. Next is immiscible liquids. Immiscible liquids remain in two different phases when tried to mix with each other. So, immiscible liquids, in immiscible liquids, the two different layers are visible even if we try to mix them together. For example, oil and water. What happens when you mix oil with water? You will observe two different layers. One is of oil and another is of water. You will observe that the oil will float on the water, isn't it? Why this happens? Because oil is immiscible in water. It does not get mixed with water. Such liquids are known as immiscible liquids. Like when we add salt in water, what happens? Salt gets dissolved in water. Similarly, when two liquids are dissolved in water, they are known as miscible liquids. And when we have also seen the example of sand dissolved in water. Do the sand get dissolved in water? No. So, oil also does not dissolve in water, it floats on the water. Some of the other examples that get mixes or does not mix with water are vinegar and lemon juice. They both mixes well with water, while mustard oil, coconut oil, kerosene oil does not mix well with water. Even some gases are also soluble in water, whereas others are not. So, some of the gases like oxygen and carbon dioxide are soluble in water. Water usually have some quantities of some gases dissolved in it. So, some of the gases like oxygen, carbon dioxide are dissolved in water in some of the amount. The cold drinks. What are cold drinks? It contains carbon dioxide in it, and carbon dioxide is dissolved in water. Now, objects that may float or sink in water. Some of the materials in the image you can observe are floating in water while others have sinked in the water. So, why this happens? You can observe that a plastic ball, leaf, a wooden block floats in water while a key or a metal coins get sink in the water. So, the materials that are denser than water, whose density who are heavier than water, get sink in the water, while the materials which are less dense, which are lighter than the water, floats in water. Next property is transparency. What do you mean by transparency? The materials or the substances through which things can be seen are called as transparent materials. Now, if you will hold a glass in your hand, what will happen? You will observe the another side of the glass, isn't it? So, it allows us to see on the another side. So, such materials are called as transparent materials. Some of the examples of transparent materials are glass, water, air, and some plastic. See, through this we can see. There are some materials through which you are not able to see. If you will hold a cardboard in your hand, are you able to see on the another side of the cardboard? No. So, such materials are known as opaque materials. What are the example? Wooden box, cardboard carton, or the metal container are some of the examples of opaque materials. While through some of the materials we can see, but we cannot see properly. The materials through which objects can be seen but not clearly seen are known as the translucent materials. We have seen the example of butter paper. If you will hold a butter paper, you can able to see some of the things, but you will not able to see it clearly. So such objects or the materials are known as the translucent materials. So the objects or the materials through which we are able to see are the transparent materials. The objects or the materials through which we are not able to see anything are opaque materials, and the object or the materials through which we are able to see but not clearly are translucent materials. So I hope this chapter is also clear to you. We have covered all the topics. Now let's have a look on the questions. Question number 1 is cotton is a dash material. So cotton is a which material? It is a hard or soft? Cotton is a soft material. The materials through which objects can be seen but not clearly are known as translucent or opaque. We are able to see but we are not able to see it clearly. So they are translucent materials. Vinegar is a dash in water. Vinegar is miscible or immiscible? Vinegar is miscible in water. It gets mixes with water. Dried leaves fallen on the surface of a pond, it float or sink in the water? Dried leaves float in the water. Which of the statement is incorrect? So the 3 statements are given. You have to find which of the statement is incorrect. Sand settle down in the water? Yes, sand does not get dissolved in the water, so it settles down in the bottom. A piece of wood floats on the water? Yes, wood is less denser than the water, so it floats in water. Chalk dissolves in water. Do chalk dissolve in water? No, chalk does not dissolve in water. So the option C is incorrect. Chalk does not dissolve in water. 6th, which of the following material is not lustrous? What do you mean by lustrous? Which show shiny appearance. So which of the materials is not lustrous? Gold, silver, diamond are lustrous. They have a shine, while wood is not lustrous. So option C. 7th, a dash is a liquid which dissolves a solute. So in a solution, what dissolves a solute? Solvent dissolves a solute to form a solution. So answer will be solvent. It will not be a solution. When solvent and solute mixes together, then only it will form a solution. Like sugar and water mixes with when sugar and water are mixed together, they form a sugar solution. So I hope this chapter is clear to you. So we will end this session here. We will continue further in our next session.